open the door, there it is. It's like a big gift box. I'm opening a present, and there are all kinds of surprises in there.
Sue Nicely's love for art led her to volunteer at the Torrance Art Museum for the past decade.
I just think it's important to have art in your life. And just because we have a pandemic and we're not open, it doesn't mean that they still can't come through our door virtually.
As a part of the museum's outreach program for kids called Stories in Art, Sue reads a book that connects to the theme of Gallery 2, which is called Music to My Eyes.
It's a story about Vazha Kandinsky, who is a very famous abstract artist, in fact, a father of abstract art. And it talked about his childhood, about whenever he heard music, he would see colors.
During COVID-19, Sue motivates her young audiences at home to keep thinking creatively.
They could pick up a book and they could just be in a whole different world, a whole imaginary world. They might even get an imaginary friend from reading a story about somebody that they can relate to.
Sue says most of the children she works with have never been to an art museum before, let alone heard of the term contemporary art.
I remember one time I had a Boy Scout group coming in and I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can get them interested in looking at art. But they were so excited about looking at contemporary art because it is so different and so new, and you kind of look at it puzzled like, wow, what is this? And they just love to explore.
She says it's a priceless experience to help her young friends to discover this colorful new world.
It's just very exciting to me because I love art and I just want to pass on my enthusiasm to them, to have them carry it out at home and even to get their families and friends involved in art.
I'm Christine Lee for Torrance Citi Cable.
Hi there, I'm Christine Lee with Torrance Citi Cable, and we are out at the Torrance Art Museum. We're about to get started on an art project with Diane Reeves and her grandson Lazarus Reeves. Good to see you guys.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
Yeah, yep. Especially during this COVID-19 season. I mean, what is it like to be able to, navigate through this time and still be able to do a little bit of arts?
Well, actually, doing the art is easy because I've been furloughed from my job here. I normally teach with the Cultural Arts Center, and because there's no way to teach children in the classroom, we've been doing a lot of art projects at home. So it's actually we've been very prolific.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm glad we're able to show folks what you can do at home using very simple things. If you're bored, you said Lazarus.
Yes. Well, and he's 10, so he's bored a lot.
Yeah. And so, you've also taken a look at some of the things inside the museum, and you said it's important to get inspired by that and allow kids to create something tangible for themselves.
Right. Absolutely. I went in and looked at a lot of artwork, but I wasn't sure which artworks we'd be able to make, that the kids might have the materials at home that they could use. So I picked out some artworks, and I brought a lot of, as we know, it's reduce what you buy and reuse what you can and recycle everything else. So we have a whole lot of recycled envelopes and flyers and tea boxes and all different kinds of materials here that we can use to make artwork with.
And why is it important for kids to make something that they can keep and that's related to what's inside?
Well, what happens is you use different parts of your brain. So you use different parts of your brain when you read or when you write or when you do arithmetic. When you do artwork, there's what they call the right side of the brain, and that side of the brain is very creative and allows you to do things that build your brain, make you able to. I don't think that everybody has to be a professional artist to like or enjoy or view art. I think that everybody does need to use art because it helps you see things differently. In art forms, you turn the box around and look at it from different sides and try different things, and that could help you if you were an engineer. So I just think it's very important for everyone.
That's really cool. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you and Lazarus can make.
Thank you. Okay, the first thing that you're going to need to do is prepare your surface to work on, because we're going to use a lot of glue. And what I always use when I'm gluing is wax paper. The second thing you need is an apron. If you don't have an apron of your own, you can use one of your dad's old t-shirts. Today I wanted to use things that were readily available. So what I did was I took some boxes apart. So this is the end flap for a box, and I painted one side of it blue. And I just took some random colors. Here's a red, okay, and here's an orange.
And a black.
And a black, because black is our favorite color. There's another black, because you can never have too much black. Now, this was the artwork that I selected that we would do the project on, and it's Rob Grad, Like Home. And he created this artwork in 2019, so it's before the pandemic started. And he has some words in here that I find really inspirational. Now this one, he scratched in the words, can't stop, don't stop, won't stop. Now I'd rather be, this one is,
I could sit here all day.
there you go. This is the one that I was inspired by. This one says, this isn't what I imagined.
This is better.
It does. It says at the bottom, this is better. Now, we can cut this. Here, do you mind if I cut a little bit of your background for you?
Sure.
Okay. All right, so
'Cause I'm not
you
really
may need to use adult scissors, because this is again, this is a tea box, green tea box. And it's a little thicker, but not as thick as this. This would be very hard to cut for your hands. So
Right.
you may have to get a scissor from your mom or your dad that will cut. And then you can cut any abstract shape you'd like, okay? It can be organic, which is rounded, or it can be sharp edges, like straight lines. You want to cut?
Sure.
Cut it fat enough that you can put things on top of it.
Okay.
Now, to make this a relief means it's raised up. To make this a relief, we need to set something down that this can set on top of, okay?
Right.
And that makes it stand up a little bit. Now, if you have a long piece like this, you may need two, okay? So
Then it
so then-
stands up and it doesn't look like it's standing up one side and it's flopping over on the
That's
other.
right, exactly. I couldn't have said it better. Now, what we have here is we have oil pastels.
I want to use this.
Okay, oil pastels that you can use, or you can use crayons. One of my favorite, and I brought them along just in case you might want to use them. These are
Sparkle.
glitter crayons. I'm a sucker for glittery things, and so
I use both of these.
okay. So I always, whenever I see glitter in paint or glitter in crayons, I just have to use, have to buy it. So
Wait, no, I want to use glitter black.
okay. So while he's writing, I'll show you some more techniques. Now, like I said, these can be cut into organic shapes also. I painted them before we got here because we don't have time for paint to dry, all right? But another technique you can use is, let's say that you really like this pink color, okay? You can glue this pink color onto a background and cut it out from there, okay? Now, it might be a good idea to put it on the plain side because you can see the pattern through.
Done.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You might need an E and you might need an R. There you go.
I'm not using round oil
Perfect.
pastels.
Perfect. Okay, so it may be hard to see, but you can see this print through the wrapping paper, because wrapping
Yeah.
paper isn't very dark.
At
So,
all.
at
It's
all.
actually pretty light.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some, because we don't need
We need any quick stick.
no, we don't need the quick stick with this. We can just
This is,
we can
just
put it
the-
on.
and then you flip it over, then it sticks
Now.
and starts to glue.
Well, just a minute, mister. Okay. we're going to smear it a little bit.
So then it covers the whole thing.
I'm going to use a piece of cardboard as my smearing stick, and I'm going to lay it down on here, and then I'm going to smear over the top. Now, what color does white glue dry?
Clear.
Clear. It dries clear. It's one of my favorite jokes, okay? Everybody says white. No, it doesn't dry white.
If it dries
So-
white, why is it white?
I know. So now I'm going to cut out, normally I would wait until it dries, but since, you know, we don't want to wait all day, I'm just going to cut a piece out, okay? And maybe Laz will want to use it and maybe he won't. Okay, so here's a piece that's kind of pretty, and now it can also be glued. Now we can stack these up if we want. We can use, whoops,
Careful.
thank you. We can stack them if we want one a little higher. Okay, so let's say we wanted this one to be a single layer, okay, and we wanted this one maybe to be a double layer. We could do that. So we could put more buttons or more beads or a taller bead. Here's a taller bead that we could put down here, and we could glue it onto the back. Now what I would use to glue something like this is
With
the tacky
glue because you want it to dry faster than
faster. With this kind of artwork, I like to do all the pieces first because that way you know what you're laying down. You know where all the pieces go. And then if you say, you know what, I don't like the way that looks, I don't really want it to look like that, you can change your mind. Do you want to put a design on here?
yeah.
Okay, so he's going to put a design on here while we're talking. So that's what these pieces are here. These pieces are pieces that I could use to either, which is what these are, you could use them to put paint on, or
And
you could use them to test.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
purple.
so draw a design of any kind. So now, is that the background that you want? Okay, now we have a background. Do you want to add the farmhouse?
I'll add it here.
See, we can add it. Here's the
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
You can go outside the box because this doesn't have to be inside a square. I did this. This has been gessoed. It's a piece of cardboard. It's the back of a sketch pad. And I did this to show you that this is what you would normally work with, a rectangle. But we're not working with a rectangle today. So you can work any shape. You can go off the organic shape
You
or
can
not.
go like this.
That's right. So are we ready to glue now?
Yes.
Okay, so we're ready to glue. So here's our
Then
tacky
there,
glue.
Because the picture is going to be
You
like,
probably only need 2.
and
We'll save 2. Okay, so here, you can,
set that there, and then you set it there.
yep.
Or if it's like you want to change your mind of where you press it, put it, but you still want to glue it.
Okay.
You don't have to.
Now we should put some glue on the top too. Don't forget to put the glue underneath the piece and then on top of the piece, so when you lay your piece down, you're good. There we go. And because we know that white glue dries clear, we can wipe off any of our mistakes, and onto my apron it goes. Okay, so that piece is in place. Now, where do we want to put this piece?
I wanted to set that right up here.
Okay, so,
And we can use these two to hold it in place.
okay, so you put them where you want them, and then glue them down. Now, you don't really have to use too much glue. You can be very much more conservative. Okay.
Don't need
Now,
this glue on
these
me.
will slide if we, but you can see that they're kind of standing up a little bit off the background. I don't know. Now we have our foreground piece. Do we want to put this even higher?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
way higher.
All right, so now we're going to
I know where I want to set them.
Now, let's see. How about the beads?
Yeah, I was thinking
Well, these may not stand up very well because they're too skinny at the end. We need something we could stack
these.
We could stack these on top of each
And
other.
this. One side could be this, and the other side could be that.
Okay, so do we want this to show?
Yes, I really want that to show.
Okay, so.
I want to show this.
All right, so we
can-
want to make sure that it shows.
Uh-huh.
All right, so just glue, I think we only need 2, and then you got to put it underneath. Wait. Okay, you got to put it underneath and then on top, both. So don't, obviously with beads or buttons, you need to check with your parents what's available.
And don't just go rushing in thinking, oh, I have everything I need, and then you realize you don't.
Yeah, it helps. Okay, now we need another layer on top, because these are going to come, this is going to come much higher. Now I brought some paint, but I don't know that we're going to do any painting on this today.
Most likely not.
Yeah. This is glitter paint. Like I said, I'm a
Grandma.
sucker.
These are slipping.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to put this down wherever. They might, if we don't want to push it too hard. Okay.
That'll do.
So now
And now
we
we
have
need-
another layer, and this layer has this on it. Now, do you want to put anything else, some glitter crayon or anything on this? Yep. Okay, we have to be careful. If we touch this, it'll slide off. So after you're done creating your
Whatever
artwork,
you're making.
whatever you're making, yes, after you're done with whatever you're making, it's a good idea. It's better if it's already dry. Okay, ours are not dry yet, but and so it's better if it's dry so that you don't accidentally bump something and it falls off. Now we have an artwork inspired by Rob Grad, and his chosen words are "I like dragons." So now the last thing, I like to close on this because it's really important. Do not leave your dining room table like this, okay? Or your parents may not allow you to do this again.
Ever again.
That's right.
Because they know you're going to just leave it to a mess, and then when they finally want to have dinner, they're like,
What did you leave here? So if you want your parents to
Exactly.
get excited about you doing artwork, it's always good to clean up.
yeah, so else your parents will never let you do artwork again.
Okay. All right. Thank you from Lazarus and I. I teach here at the Cultural Arts Center when we have classes. Thank you very much.
And bye.
Hi, I'm Christine with Torrance Citi Cable, and today I want to introduce you to one of the newest stores here at the Del Amo Fashion Center called Mercy's Cakes in Cups.
This is my mom's business, and we're so proud of her for finally opening her storefront. She talked about it for so long.
For decades, Mercedes Bumpus worked her way up the corporate ladder while searching for her true calling.
I knew I wanted to be in some sort of food service. So I started as a hostess, worked my way up to server and trainer, and did store openings, and then got into the management piece of it until I was general manager. And then in those years, decided I still loved it, but it wasn't my passion.
She says she finally discovered her passion in her late 30s.
It just all started with love. I was always in the kitchen. As time went on, I saw myself every holiday and every celebration for the kids. I was the one making the recipes. And so after family and friends seeing what the products were, they were like, hey, we think you're onto something here.
For the past 3 years, the self-taught baker sold her sweets at farmers markets and provided catering for special events.
She just did my wedding last year, too.
Did she give you a discount?
Of course. Daughter discount.
It took years for Mercedes to save up enough money to open her first store, but unfortunately, the coronavirus pandemic came right after her grand opening.
We had opened initially in mid-March, a few days before quarantine. So it went from an extreme high to an extreme low in a very short amount of time.
During the difficult days, Mercedes says her faith keeps her going.
Ever since I was a teenager, I found the scripture Philippians 4:13, which is I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And that's literally what I've lived by my entire life. And so now in this time, which, makes me a little emotional, but in this time it's really true. You have to be faithful and know that this is your path and this is where, you're supposed to be. So even on those happy days, it's like, okay, good, let's keep going, let's keep mixing. And on those low days, it's, just get on your knees and pray and just know that, you'll make it through no matter what.
And in light of George Floyd's death and the protests that ensued,
George Floyd! George Floyd!
Mercedes says she's thankful to be living during this unique time in history.
Everything happens for a reason, and being in this unspeakable era of Corona and of Black Lives Matter that's happening now, I'm definitely proud to have lived through it. Although it is difficult, I'm able to have those conversations with my children, and they'll be able to in turn have those conversations with theirs. So it's pretty amazing to live through it too, when you can take a step back and say, like, wow, I was a part of that, or I lived through that.
Mercedes' 4 kids have been with her throughout this entire journey.
It's really exciting because then it inspires you to also try to pursue your dreams and do something like that.
It's showing us to aspire for more and not to just settle for working for other people or doing things that don't make us happy.
And her parents always encouraged her to dream big.
They're very supportive. They're both entrepreneurs. My mom was a chef. My dad was an engineer. They've always had their own business. So the fact that I was going to follow in that footstep, was very exciting for them.
So while these past few months have been a challenge, she's hopeful that things will look up from here and she can continue being a role model for her kids.
I just hope to teach them to be happy. I do talk to them about that a lot. Of course you're gonna stumble and fall. It's trial and error. But ultimately find your happiness and you'll win.
I got a cookie crumb cupcake for my husband and a strawberry shortcake cupcake for myself.
You can also pick up a cupcake too. Her shop is located on the 2nd floor of the outside portion of the Del Amo Fashion Center, right across from Urban Outfitters. Well, I'm back out here at Mercy's Cakes and Cups with Mercedes, and since we filmed that story, so much more has happened. Tell me about that.
Yes, definitely. So we had another mandate to close down the malls, the indoor portion, and so luckily for us, we're on the outdoors, so we didn't have to close, although we've closed twice before for the pandemic, so that was somewhat of a relief. However, it still has lessened the foot traffic because, being in this huge mall and everyone knows that it's typically closed, then that, lessens the desire to come over. So we've definitely seen a drop, since the last mandate of closing down.
Are you trying to do anything different to promote your business?
Oh, definitely. We're very active on social media. We have our Facebook, we have our Instagram, where we're, just trying to keep our, products visible. The mall has also given us an outdoor market for the weekend, so that's been really great. So we're able to put up a booth, outside our colorful booth and have all of our products and just reach, new guests that way.
How are you staying motivated? Because it seems like just as soon as you opened and until now, you're just going through one obstacle after another.
It's very difficult, it's very difficult, because at this time, it just seems like, there's no end. Initially you just feel like, okay, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and now it seems like that light is, kind of dimming. So it can be hard to be motivated, but again, just, believing in my faith and that this is my path and where I'm supposed to be. That's, what's keeping me going.
Is there anything you want to leave our viewers with?
Just, stay faithful. Again, just know that, this is happening for a reason, and eat cake.
Well, thank you so much, Mercedes, for taking a few minutes to chat with me again.
Definitely.
And thank you at home for watching. We'll see you again soon. Hi, I'm Christine with Torrance Citi Cable, and today we're expecting a very special delivery here at City Hall.
This morning, Sophia came in to visit me and brought in masks and facial protectors, shields that she has created. And I am so impressed by this young lady's ability. And in fact, it really makes me feel good to put on my little tiger mask here. Thank you, Sophia.
10-year-old Sophia Reyes says this was the highlight of her day.
It meant a lot for me for him to wear something that I made. It was really meaningful.
What started out as a fourth grade school project evolved into a movement to help others during COVID-19.
And I thought that my sister was also going to go back to school, so I tried a lot of different face masks on her and on me, and she tried on one of the prototypes that I made, and she was more comfortable with the cloth face mask and the face shield.
She drew each animal design on Dad's computer and used mostly household items.
We went through the creative process to make things happen. So we have the materials available. We have some plastic binding covers. We have actually the sponge, we have it at home. We just bought sticker paper to print the designs.
Sophia says she spent most of her summer vacation creating and sharing what she made.
I've been donating them to frontliners, to teachers and kids with special needs. And I've also donated them to other states, and I want to make a batch to donate to Mexico.
Sophia's parents hope more families will support their children's imaginations during this pandemic.
I've been working from home for about 5 months, and I have more time to spend with my family, with my girls, and that time has to be used in a meaningful way. If you have time, spend it with your kids. If they have ideas, push them and make it happen.
Mayor Fury echoes Reyes' sentiment and challenges more Torrance residents to take part in the city's Dare to Care challenge.
This should be an inspiration for a lot of people. When we have a fourth grader who can do something this positive and this progressive, what can you do? And I ask everybody, do something. Do something nice. Do something for your neighbor. Do something for your family. Do something for your friends. And just a random act of kindness. And let us know about it.
Mayor Fury says this has been a memorable visit.
They are the first guest I've had in City Hall for 5 months. One of the things you miss, or I miss, as a mayor, is the personal interaction. That is what I always say, the best part of being a mayor.
He hopes more people will continue spreading kindness throughout our city as we continue navigating through this time in history together.
It's the Torrance way. It really is. And it's the Torrance family. And it's not just one family, it's all 148,000 or so people that live here. We're all one big family.
At City Hall, I'm Christine Lee.